it's time to let's get to the heavy hitters here. My bonus headline as a sixth one will be related to Marvel, but it's time to go to Disney Pixar. And this is the headline, Ricky Flex. Pixar, the greatest hits.
Yes. 7 out of 10.
It's supposed to be like an album, name of an album, because we're getting Incredibles 3. We're getting Toy Story 5. What we have for Incredibles 3, you got Brad Bird coming back. He's going to be directing. And there you have Toy Story 5. You got some new, you got a teaser, first of all. I saw that in a leak. Ricky Flex, you see the teaser at all?
I don't know where you're getting these leaks. I did not see
That might have been just released, by the way. But I think Toy Story 5, I saw it through a leak and then it was released.
I saw a still.
Yes, and it's with the kid with an iPad underneath the covers and the toys looking on. Buzz, Woody, Jesse, Forky, and company. Toy Story 5, Pixar creative executive Andrew Stanton announced as director. He's been involved with all the Toy Story movies thus far. He's a Pixar staple. The plot will focus around children becoming obsessed with electronics. This is coming summer 2026. Ricky Flex, what do you think about this story? We talk about Toy Story 5. This franchise probably should have ended with Toy Story 3. We got the extended 4 into 5 now. Electronics versus action figures pretty much. What do you think?
So clearly you're thinking, oh, maybe this is too meta. This is too on the nose, right? I get that feeling, but with Andrew Stanton coming back to direct, yes, Toy Stories 1 through 4 directed. Ratatouille, Finding Nemo. He's a Pixar guy. But you know what else he directed? WALL-E. Was that too meta? Was that too on the nose? Right? Was that too close to home for us? And I think WALL-E is an unbelievable film. So I feel like this, I'm starting to turn it to be more optimistic on this and be like, this could be a nice turn from where we saw Toy Story 4, where that was kind of, I don't know, RV toys, Woody on the outskirts of the toy group. That was kind of like a lame story, in my opinion. That was easily the worst one. Not even close. Definitely didn't say, oh, we should do a fifth one. And especially because him and Bo Peep aren't even in the group. They're going to have to address that, by the way. So they're going to have to address that. But I feel like getting back to these bigger stories, similar to Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3, a kid moving to a new home, or kid leaving his toys, getting too old for his toys, or addressing bigger problems, and that's what Toy Story does. And we have Andrew Stanton back at the helm here, who has done it before, not only with Toy Story, but in WALL-E especially.
I've done a complete 180. After seeing the premise here, this doesn't, it obviously is a cash grab because whenever you put 5 next to something, we get it, you know? But you had in the fourth one, Woody reuniting with Bo Peep. No one gives a shit about him reuniting with Bo Peep. No one cares about that, right? That's in the back of all of our minds. It's not the most important relationship in Toy Story, right? We care about Buzz, Woody. They're coming back here, but you have the 5 next to it, but you actually have a pretty relevant story and something that could teach something to kids. Like this, basically, when I read this premise, it's Pixar saying, kids, touch grass. You know, that's like basically what this is. It's get off the iPad. And what I thought about this, Ricky Flex, I thought it'd be so funny if like the iPad is the big bad, you know, of this movie. I know they talked about there's going to be like a couple, like 50 evil Buzz Lightyears like buzzing around and stuff, but it'd be hilarious if you almost had like Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and you have like the entity is like the iPad, the AI that kids are obsessed with, and you have like Woody and Buzz taking them on. That would be incredible, Ricky. And like the entity is marked by these 50 Buzz Lightyears. I just couldn't think. I couldn't think about a better premise as a teacher. I see kids obsessed with electronics nonstop and on electronics all the time. Like this is gonna teach kids something, no doubt.
Yeah, they're gonna teach them to rewatch this movie 1,000 times on the iPad because they're gonna love it so much.
Shit, you're right. It's a freaking circle of death, dude. They'll never get us out.
Never. But no, I feel like this is the one part of Disney which again has been not just Disney animation or Pixar, but you know, even people have talked about Star Wars and Marvel being too on the nose, and other projects outside of Disney, but especially in Disney being too on the nose, too meta. But I feel like this is the one IP that they have that they could actually do this well with. So I've done a 180 on it in a positive direction. I like it. 2026, big year for animated movies. Can't wait.
Buzz Lightyear. I got a tweet about this. God, they have so many malfunctions with Buzz Lightyears. Like they go in demo mode, and like all of a sudden they're like a zombie. They don't listen to people. They're operating in Spanish, and they have to get shaken until they're speaking English again. And now we have 50 Buzz Lightyears that are just gonna go instantly evil with one flip of the switch. The product control, the quality control of these toys need to be looked at for Toy Story 6, 7, and 8. That's all I have to say. I feel like Buzz is the one who is always like being messed with. There has to be other toys that can get messed with, you know?
I also just want to say we've already seen Buzz as the villain multiple times. I don't hate the iPad take that you
The
had.
entity, like the entity as the villain, the iPad.
I
Steve
actually
Jobs.
think that's a really good take. I still don't want to see it because I think that was a weak spot in Dead Reckoning, and it's going to be a weak spot in Part 2 or whatever the movie's going to be called. So whatever that is. But for this kids movie, the iPad being the villain could be hilarious.
My kids, they'll be playing with action figures growing up. I'm not just handing them an iPad at the restaurant. You know, they can play with Batman. They can play with Batman. I'll buy them a Batcave. They can do their thing. They're not just going to be on their iPad all day. I'll tell you that for free. Other Pixar project, Incredibles 3. Not surprised this is coming. Incredibles 2 basically took 15 years to have a sequel, nearly 15 years. And this is going to be Brad Bird, very familiar with the team here. And I think, Ricky, after you have Mr. Incredible stealing the show in the first Incredibles, you have Elastigirl kind of stealing the show in the second Incredibles. You need a third movie that just shows the team operating on all cylinders, right? Pixar's first family. Give us the great Fantastic Four-esque movie for an entire runtime. I don't want to see the family separated. I want to see them taking on villains together the entire time. We deserve that, especially after some of the reception to like Incredibles 2. I feel like if you have that, what I'm talking about, right? The fully functioning super team, that's the movie I'm interested in.
We can't do another split up movie. I don't want to see a Dash and Violet, Jack split up and the parents are together.
No.
Just do a team up movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the play here. I think a big question now is, all right, you're doing Incredibles 3. Probably gonna get a 4 or 5, similar to Toy Story. You know, we'll get something like that. But I think the bigger question is, do we get Pixar's first ever live action movie? Like Incredibles live action at some point?
I think
we're getting there.
This should end like it won't. Incredibles 3 should be like the last one, and then they look at a live action.
Because like Pixar prides itself on technology, animation studio, animation. So would Disney be like, hey, give us the realm for a live action movie? I feel like that is kind of the path that we're on with The Incredibles.
Have Brad Bird direct, and you make the movie as like Incredibles 4. Like The Incredibles 4 would be a live action movie. Don't restart everything. Continue the story just into live action. You know, I feel like in the age of like Spider-Verse, you know, like what's going to happen with Miles Morales when he goes into live action, will it be a continuation of the Spider-Verse animated movies? Will they try and reset everything? I feel like the smartest thing, and you want us to still feel connected to the animated films, you have Incredibles 4 just be live. That would be so cool, dude. I'd be in on that.
And it's not like Pixar wouldn't be involved. They'd probably still write it. It'd be their characters, but like, and also Brad Bird can direct it still.
You can
famously
work with,
Ghost Protocol director.
Dude, think about like, let's say, Fantastic Four First Steps is a hit. Like you get like Matt Shackman to work with Brad Bird, and they make Incredibles 4. That would be so cool, dude. That would be so cool.
But like, again, Brad Bird has done a lot of live action movies.
Yeah, he could do it himself.
Spy movies. He could do it himself. Yeah. I think the casting's the one where it's going to be interesting because like, oh, what ages are all these different Incredible?
John Cena, Mr. Incredible.
You what?
John Cena, Mr. Incredible.
That's not bad. Yeah, and I don't like. First thought, Angelina Jolie as Elastigirl.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was just a thought I had thrown out there. Also, there's no release date except for this yet. Just announced. So this is probably 2028, end of 2027 Christmas if we're lucky. But with all these different projects, probably 2028.